For years, Sean Diddy Combs was known as the charismatic music mogul behind some of the biggest hits in hip-hop history.
Nice.
He was a global icon, flashing lights, red carpets, luxury yachts, and million-dollar deals. But behind the designer suits and glossy magazine covers, a much darker story was waiting to be told.
Oh.
It began with a woman named Tasha Wright. Tasha had been Diddy's personal assistant for almost 7 years. She started when she was just 23, wide-eyed and eager to make a name for herself in the entertainment world. At first, it felt like a dream job: celebrity parties, private jets, and access to the most powerful people in the industry. But as the months passed, Tasha began to notice things that didn't add up. Strange meetings at odd hours, sudden disappearances, and whispers behind closed doors that were quickly silenced when she entered the room. She stayed quiet for years, bound by loyalty and a thick non-disclosure agreement. But in 2024, everything changed. Tasha walked into a federal building in downtown Los Angeles and handed over a flash drive. On it were hundreds of files, audio recordings, financial ledgers, and encrypted emails. The documents outlined what prosecutors would later call a shadow empire built on fear, manipulation, and crime. According to Tasha's files, Diddy wasn't just running a music label, he was running an operation far more sinister. There were reports of artists who had disappeared after contract disputes, offshore accounts used to funnel millions, and a security team that allegedly intimidated anyone who got too close. One file showed a wire transfer of $2.3 million to a shell company in the Cayman Islands. Just 2 days after a fire destroyed a studio filled with unreleased music from a rival artist. The most chilling part was a folder simply labeled Nights. Inside were photographs, heavily blurred and time-stamped between 2 and 4 a.m. Some showed underground gatherings and private clubs where phones were confiscated at the door. Others appeared to capture celebrities in vulnerable situations, suggesting that blackmail may have been used as a tool of control. Tasha claimed she had once been ordered to destroy a hard drive, and when she hesitated, she was locked in a hotel room for 36 hours without explanation. Federal investigators launched a covert inquiry. Wiretaps, surveillance, and insider interviews followed. But each time they got close, the trail seemed to vanish. Key witnesses backed out at the last second. 2 whistleblowers changed their stories after receiving mysterious payments. One even fled the country. Then came a break. An anonymous tip led agents to a storage facility in Newark, New Jersey. Inside a climate-controlled unit, they found crates filled with old computers, handwritten journals, and unreleased recordings. Among the items was a journal believed to belong to a deceased bodyguard who had once worked for Diddy. In it, he detailed what he called the midnight sessions, where high-profile figures gathered to make decisions that affected careers, wealth, and sometimes lives. The public never saw this side of Diddy, but slowly, the facade began to crack. His media empire suffered, partnerships were quietly dissolved, and his social media presence vanished. Still, no charges had been filed. Every time new evidence surfaced, legal teams moved in quickly, burying stories before they made headlines. And then, just as quickly as it had all started, the case went silent. Tasha entered witness protection. The storage facility was mysteriously burned in what was ruled an electrical fire. Key investigators were reassigned. No one could explain why the investigation was halted so abruptly. But rumors of high-level interference swirled through Washington and Hollywood alike. To this day, Sean Combs maintains his innocence, and no formal charges have ever been brought against him. But those who knew Tasha believe her story. They say she never wanted fame or money, just the truth. Whether the world ever learns what really happened behind the velvet ropes and tinted windows remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the Shadow Diddy cast was longer than anyone ever imagined.